Welcome to the Out for Smokes podcast, everybody. My guest today is one of my oldest friends in comedy. You've seen him on Netflix, you've seen him on Late Night, and on December 30th, he is playing the theater at Madison Square Garden.
Yes,
Please
sir.
welcome Nimesh Patel, everybody.
Thank you very much for having me, Mike.
Hey, congrats, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a big deal.
That was really cool.
Did your parents get emotional or?
I don't think any of us are capable of having real emotions.
Yeah. Oh, your parents?
Yeah, I mean, they're like, I think we all fiend like we have like happiness and pride and all that stuff. But if they're anything like me for real, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
it's like real stoic, but,
Yeah.
which is not necessarily good.
Yeah.
I wish I had more emotional responses to things, but
Yeah.
I'm working through it in therapy right now.
The only thing that I brag about to my parents is if I like made money.
Yeah.
Like I'll go like, I found $40 on the street the other day.
I was doing that when I started selling out weekends.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man,
It's such a big deal.
yeah. And they'd be like, what? And my sister would be like, you did that in a weekend? I'm like, yeah, it's just crazy out here.
Yeah.
But then at some point it became like, it was every weekend, and they were like, all right, stop bragging about this.
Right. Because they want the new thing.
Yeah, they want the new thing. But they're still like, my dad's still like, wow, incredible. I have to work a whole 6 months for that. I'm like,
You tried to make a Schultz. Did you see the Schultz video with his dad? He's like crying to his dad.
Oh, yeah.
It's you trying to tell your dad. He's like looking at it. He's too busy doing other things.
he's at the liquor store. I was like, oh, that's great. That's great, son.
Yeah, you can't get him to leave the liquor store.
Yeah, I really can't, man. I cannot. It's been a point of contention for us in our family for a long time.
Yeah.
It's like, Dad, you gotta stop working as much as you do.
Yeah.
Oh, he's at a liquor store or he's a drunk?
No,
He's not a drunk.
no, he's not a drunk.
Wait, you don't know?
My dad works at a liquor store.
Yeah.
No, he's not a lush just hanging out. You had to work 6 months to do what you did.
My dad is Homer Simpson when he got the job at the bowling alley. But you know, go ahead. What were you saying?
No, that's it. That's
yeah.
all I was gonna say. Is just no, they did not get there. I imagine they will be emotional day of, because this is the first one where like all my aunts and uncles are coming, like on both sides of the family. Like all of my cousins are coming.
Yeah.
So I don't have to sell that many tickets because the show would be filled.
Yeah,
No, I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
kidding. I have to sell a lot of tickets.
Well, MSG,
Please
that's
come.
like half an Indian wedding, right?
It's gonna feel like that for sure.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot. Literally my entire family's
Yeah.
coming.
Because Deb and I got invited to your sister's wedding, which I was surprised.
Yes,
But those are just big weddings.
We wanted to make sure that the people that supported us in our wedding were there to celebrate. My sisters, and my sister was so gracious to give us a table because I demanded one, and we're like, all right, let's invite some of our friends. It'd be a good time. Yeah.
Thanks.
Did y'all do like? I went to Suba's wedding and it was like
Suba's married.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. To this white dude.
Well, she's married to the game.
yeah.
Shout out Suba. Yeah, she's married
But the
to the
whole
game.
day was like they broke up the families into groups, and then everybody had to like learn a dance or an act, and then
Did you dance?
no, I just watched. I don't know what the fuck's going on. But then it was
But
like
don't
it
act
was like
like you
3
don't
days
dance.
long, 2 days long.
Yeah. It's a 3-day.
Food was
affair.
amazing. And it was just nonstop. And again, the thing I did like about it was it forced cousins to have to socialize and like do an activity, not just be like, "Who the fuck are you?" and then play video games.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, we have to remember a dance and care and present it, and even like the oldest person has to stand out of their wheelchair and turn around, right?
Yep. Everyone gets into it at the Indian weddings. And I think this might be your first actual Indian wedding.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So it's
Anything I should know or
just
any
have
anything
a
to
great
avoid.
fucking time. You'll be
What do I have to wear?
just a suit, unless you want to wear Indian clothes, in which case we can have that arranged.
Am I allowed?
Yeah, of course you're allowed to wear Indian clothes.
Okay.
You could dress up like one of the elephants, maybe.
Why? What do you mean?
I don't know, like an elephant.
What are you talking
Who's the
about?
elephant guy?
Scott, I've struggled with my weight my whole life. You piece of shit.
Yeah, we're gonna
Shut the fuck up.
You're invited, so the groom can ride you in. But no, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. But thank you for accepting the invite.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the most expensive wedding in history is Indian billionaire Mukesh Ambani, I believe. He spent over $100 million for his daughter's wedding.
That's fucking nuts. I think the second one was probably another Indian billionaire, Lakshmi Mittal. I thought that's when I was in college. I think his daughter or somebody was at our school, and so like the people like loosely were aware of what was going on with her and their family. And at some point after graduation, she married some guy that she met at NYU, another like scion of some rich ass Indian family, and their wedding made the news because it was like tens of millions of dollars or something, and we're just like, what? Why?
What are you spending?
How?
Well,
Yeah.
in the Ambani one, they got John Kerry and Hillary Clinton came out, and there was like a video that went around Twitter of them dancing at the Indian wedding. So he made sure to get
You just like hire a roster of faces that you would like to see dance at your wedding.
Well, I guess so. That's part of it.
Do you think they were paid to be there?
Maybe. I mean, I assume they would be given a high degree of luxury. I mean, he's a powerful, connected billionaire. You want to be his friend. You probably don't have to pay them to show up, but
They probably know each other already. The Clintons and the Ambanis and all the Indian billionaires probably have their hands on all of American politics for sure.
Right.
Did you go to that Indian temple in Jersey? Did it just open?
It just opened.
It's like the biggest one outside of India, right?
I have not gone, and I will not go.
What, is there like badness behind
I
it?
got like 2 years ago. It's this group called BAPS,
Okay.
which I don't know exactly what it stands for, but it's not. It's not a cult, but it's a cult because it's not a cult in the sense like there's like 10 million of them.
Yeah.
But it is like this religious sect where you have to give like 10% of your money and all this kind of stuff. And I read a New York Times article. Shout out New York Times. I know you're a big fan, Recine.
Shout out.
I read this article in the Times about like how they were building this temple. And the FBI kind of raided their headquarters or the temple itself, like the construction grounds, because it was alleged that
They were using a genie's lamp to get everything.
more or less they were using free labor to build this temple. And I made fun of that, and I made fun of the fact that like it's so Indian to use like free labor to build something. And
Is it?
It's just like it was a joke about like
okay.
how they make people feel like they're giving something to God when really they're just giving labor for free under the guise of this is your sacrifice to God. And I made a joke about that, and a lot of their community got very upset.
Right.
And they like DM'd me all this kind of wild shit. They said all this kind of crazy stuff. Very unholy stuff from a lot of allegedly religious people saying all sorts of wild shit. And then others were like, just come to the temple. We'll show you. I'm like, yeah, okay, dude. I'll come to the temple for sure. And so when it opened, another wave of, I think it opened recently, another wave of people DM'd me.
Have you been continuing to make fun of them, or is it just this is one time?
I stopped because it was kind of annoying. It was annoying to wake up every morning to a tag of people saying, "Oh, fuck you, Nimesh Patel," and then like it made waves on like all of their kind of Instagram handles, like they had Hindu this, BAPS that, all this kind of shit. I was like, this is too annoying to hear from people who have public profiles with them and their like kids telling me to like eat a dick and shit. It's like, what you are a parent, bro.
Because then when it happens, you try to like avoid the mentions, but then you miss when like a porn star follows you. Which always feels really good. I love when a porn star follows you and then you click and she's only following like 200,000 other people.
You feel real special.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened to me, I don't think.
No.
Shout out to the porn stars. If you want to follow me, holla at your boy.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not going to the temple. They had Aaron Gordon go and like be an ambassador.
Who's that? Who's Aaron Gordon?
Aaron Gordon's a NBA All-Star, plays for the Nuggets, won the championship last year, and they had him tour the temple, and like it looks insane. It looks like it costs hundreds of millions of dollars, which it did, I think. What bothered me was years ago when I went to India, the same group has a temple in Delhi. And it's like, I don't know acreage, but it's like acres and acres and acres of land, and this beautiful temple. My mom wanted to go see it. Literally outside of the gates of the temple is just like homelessness like you've never seen, and like slums and stuff. And it's like, I couldn't reconcile how you could call yourself religious and then still allow that to exist. Yeah. Literally outside of where you're at, you know. And I know people are like, yeah, problems are problems. Like, it's not any one group's.
It's annoying.
You know, it's just like, this is fucking corny. Like, what am I here for? And then you also know that, like, they try to get you to come to the church and try to get you to believe in all their beliefs and stuff. And it's like,
Right.
I'm good, dude.
Yeah.
Well, Nimesh, I know your parents left India in the 1970s, and was that because socialism is a failed system that destroyed India? And actually, it's great in theory, but it doesn't ever work in practice, as demonstrated by Indian socialism.
That was actually the last thing my dad said before he got on the plane. He's like, socialism has failed. I'm going to go be a capitalist in India. I mean, in Newark, New Jersey. No, I mean, they left for the same reason any immigrants leave, for a better opportunity, I guess. And I think in India at the time, late 70s, what had happened when the Brits left India in 1947, after they left a power vacuum, but they also left this huge system of no one had any idea what to do. So there was a glut of very smart people. Like, people went and got educated. Like, the governments then decided we're going to spend millions and millions of dollars to educate our people, get them jobs, get them degrees in physics and math or whatever. They did not create any jobs for the people that had all these high-end degrees. At the same time, in America, there was a recession happening. There was the Civil Rights Act. There was Vietnam. There was a lot of opportunity.
People needed booze.
Yes. And
no one wanted to study science.
and gas stations.
Yeah, no one wanted to learn how to do surgery.
And there was this whole in America for smart people.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that you had this glut of smart people.
Yeah.
And they all came over, and it was kind of this perfect Indian matchmaking situation that happened. My dad did not have a college degree or anything. He was just here. He was like, well, India's not working out. Let me try to go to America and work. My brother's there. Let me work at the store he's at, save a bunch of money, maybe try to open up my own store. And that's what happened.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting just the idea of like running a business like that. Like, I'm sure maybe it's not the most like creative thing, but I'm sure the day in and day out of doing that has to be difficult or have its own challenges, or you need special types of talents to
you need to really.
There's probably like 10 drunks waiting for him to open up shop every morning.
Still to this day, he's like, I got to get to work at 10 o'clock. I'm like, who the fuck are you serving at 10 o'clock? He's like, there's customers. Like, they should not be customers, Dad.
Yeah.
You need to send them to fucking
hell. When I would deliver checks down in like Asbury Park and shit, I couldn't, every liquor store, I couldn't leave it if they weren't open yet, because there's like a line, like an hour before they open. Just drunks and shit.
Yeah, people are just waiting to get fucked up. And it's like, that's nuts. I think the skill that it requires is patience. And a lot of it's a skill to be content, and a skill to be okay doing a very monotonous kind of thing.
Yeah.
Over and over, and just being like finding the calm and the dignity in that.
Yeah.
Is a lot of skill that is not necessarily taught in schools or whatever. It's just like an emotional skill.
Yeah.
Or lack of emotion, rather. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
Well, it must be weird running a liquor store. Because you'll have regulars, and then you won't see them for a while, and they'll come back, and you'll be like, "What happened?" They'll say, "Oh, well, I got my life together for a second, and then I got divorced, and now I'm back."
Like, welcome back. There's like a 40% discount.
Yeah.
If you do that.
Right.
If you bring in an AA chip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just it must be weird to know your regulars, and kind of it's like being a bartender, I guess.
for sure. Except they're drinking out of a plastic bottle.
Except they're just it's less social, I guess.
Yeah. They go out. They'll just finish the drink outside of the door.
Yeah.
Hey,
look, you got to consume this in the parking lot, okay? Not in the store.
I remember my dad told me one time he had an alcoholic come in, and I guess it was like one of his last times drinking the way he was because he had reached a peak where he just came in, bought Everclear, and like took a shot of it, and like went blind, and that was it. Like, like he just went, yeah, the final shot. Just took everyone. I'm like, Dad, that happened. He's like, yeah, people drink, dude. I'm like, that's fucking nuts. What a story, dude.
Yeah. But there's something interesting about like doing that with your life and being like, okay, this might not be the most glamorous thing, but you still, you show up every day and you got to find the joy in it, I guess.
Yeah, it's my dad's just every time I tell him to stop working, he's like, I love to work. I'm just it's
really?
just like, he's just like,
and he's there every day. He's behind the
counter,
really
6 days a week.
What does he watch on TV the whole time?
Nothing.
He doesn't have the TV running?
No TV, nothing. It's just,
Damn.
I mean, he doesn't own this store. The one he's working at, he just works there.
Oh.
He owns one in Irvington, New Jersey, but like he doesn't go to that one anymore because that's where he had a gun put to his head. Right. So yeah, there's that makes things interesting.
The other fringe benefit of being in a liquor store.
Yeah. It's the trauma experience and knowing what it's like to be almost dead. I guess that's an eye opening experience for sure. But at the liquor stores, just constant flow of people, which is odd because I don't know people who buy drinks at like 2 p.m., but people do. Yeah, he just loves to work. And I think it's because like that's where a lot of older school people derive their sense of self-worth. Yeah. It's like, this is my contribution to society.
Yeah.
And in Hinduism, it says that just work.
It does?
It's like in the Bhagavad Gita, it's like the third page. Yeah. It's like, do what you think you're supposed to be doing, and don't be attached to the outcomes of your labor. It's just like, just do the work, and you will be good with God. And part of me is like, okay, that's a cool thing, but it also seems like it's probably written by some fucking
a guy who worked at a liquor store,
slave driver. No, some guy was like, no, God says you should be working every day.
Right.
Don't question it.
Well, and that's like a thing people are saying in Canada, because like that Hanuman statue was built, that like 55-foot Hanuman statue, and I guess what like conservative people would say is if you have a country that starts worshiping Hinduism, they will submit to the government because Hinduism is like the most submittable. And it's like, oh, I'm not saying that's true, but that's what they say. No, we can't have a Hindu nation. They'll just become slaves to the government. You go, what? And they'll like it. And you go, fucking how? But this is what people say on the internet.
It's so odd when like a lot of Hinduism also, like at least in the text, it like codifies class. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to be like, oh yeah, everyone would submit to the government when in the caste system it says some people are meant to
be this.
Some people are meant to run stuff. Some people are meant to be merchants. And
what is it, like 10 things you could be?
I don't know I don't know what the numbers are, but it's not the best way to structure your society for sure. But it also like. Hindus are like some of the richest people on the planet and like the most go-getting motherfuckers there are. So I don't know how you would think, oh, they're socialists.
Yeah. But then what do you do if you're at the bottom? Are you just like, yeah, this is where I belong?
That's what if I consider myself Hindu, but that's where I have a lot of problems with it. Where it's like, okay, like, are we as a group telling certain people to just be content with their station in life? And not be mad about it. And I'm sure that there are enough people who are kind of, I don't want to say brainwashed, but like believe in God so much that that's what they do. And it's like, I guess I'm just meant to clean toilets and just be, subservient to the Ambanis or the Mithils or whatever it is, which is sad. It bothers me.
Right. It is nice to clean toilets and to get a paycheck, though. I'll tell you that.
Is it like applied in government over there though, or not?
Oh,
right?
I have no idea. Well, I don't know. Another thing that I've learned is the instant you misspeak about anything going on in India, it's not even bots. It's just people with nothing else to do will start talking. I dare you, when I'm not on this one, on the next podcast, like when it's just 4 white guys, say some shit about India. That is willfully ignorant, and then put it on the internet, and then see what happens.
Yeah. Okay.
If you want to get like,
if you want an engagement farm,
if you want to,
Hinduism's the best.
if you want to get downvoted and hated on and
Yeah.
like wonder why your YouTube algorithm is all sorts of fucked up for like weeks and months, do that.
Just
Okay.
misspeak.
we're on Mark Maron one day. He's like, "So how did you guys cross the level?" I'm like, "Well, we started going after India." Well, Mark,
That's what
I'm glad you asked.
That's what, dude. I learned. Congrats, Indians. You broke me. Like I learned my lesson. Like there's some shit. I'm just like, you know what? It's not worth pursuing this angle of attack. I don't care this much about being right
Yeah.
to experience whatever the fuck you're gonna throw at me.
Right, a nation of over 1 billion people harassing you.
Like
Not something I want to mess with.
We just open up our YouTube one day. It says 1B comments. It's just people fuck you.
they won't even say fuck you. They'll say some what are you like? What are you mad at? You know,
Yeah.
like I got some trolls happening right now because I made fun of Vivek Ramaswamy,
Yeah.
the presidential candidate, and it's like people from India being mad, and I'm like, Vivek is the best. What, dude? You were in India, bro.
Is he like your Giuliani?
No, Vivek is a very competent guy.
Yeah.
Is a smart guy.
Yeah.
The problem is that he represents the kind of Indian person that could have, like, I know this. I haven't said this on stage yet, but it is something I'm working on. But like, I know this kind of Indian person, the guy that grew up thinking he was oppressed, so to speak.
Right.
I know because I've been that guy.
Right.
I remember when I was like 16, I went to this hoity-toity summer camp at Johns Hopkins University for like kids who thought it would help them get into college, right? And I remember having an argument with somebody about like, oh, my dad came here with nothing and he made himself into something. And why can't other groups do the same shit?
Oh. What groups, Nimesh?
Minorities, black minorities. Like I remember having that argument.
Yeah.
And thinking and then being corrected years later.
Yeah.
About like and finally understanding. Oh no, this Indians came here at a very privileged time. We were very privileged people. America was still busy like oppressing Black Americans and other minorities for real. And we kind of like, they were busy getting hosed, and we're like, okay, we'll take all the other fucking jobs and shit.
Yeah.
And that former mentality is the one that Vivek maintains.
Yeah.
Where he thinks he grew up kind of like poor, so to speak, but like his dad is a psychiatrist, or his dad's a patent attorney, and his mom's a psychiatrist. Like they're not poor by any means. Yeah. He is against affirmative action, and even though he took advantage of affirmative action at Yale, and he's like, "Oh, it's just the system." It's like, "Oh, so you're like, what do you, who do you not like, and why do you not like them?
Yeah,
and what are you trying to go around and make happen?
Yeah,
and it's all this kind of like dog whistling about other people that really is like antithetical to what I believe a politician should be. And the problem is, I think if he's just saying this shit because he's trying to signal to the right-wing white America that he's the guy.
Yeah.
Whereas if he just
but
went...
how's that going to work out?
Well, you saw he was the first to come out when they took Trump off the ballot in Colorado. Oh, yeah. And he was like, well, then I'm not on the ballot in Colorado. And I say every other Republican do the same. And it's like, well, that's the fucking right cool thing to do, but fuck this guy.
Yeah,
it's like... He's so smooth with that shit. He's gonna win over those people.
Yeah, but I'm hopeful that America is still too racist to let a guy named Vivek Ramaswamy go anywhere.
I believe in us.
But that's what he wants.
Yeah, of
He
course.
wants to be Trump's like fluffer, you know.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem is that if he just went the other way, if he was just like, you know what, fuck all this dog whistling racist bullshit that I believe in, and I'm trying to get all these right wing. He's like anti-public education. He's anti-public health care. If he just went like made a left turn to like start talking to progressives, he'd probably have a much better shot winning over people like you and I with his politics. Like if he was just like, I'm pretty nationalist myself. I'm speaking as me right now. I'm pretty nationalist myself. I do believe we shouldn't be fighting all these wars that we're fighting. I do think the military money that we give to the military should be spent on education and diverted to like STEM education and all that kind of stuff and taking care of people. I think long term, that's a long term vision. If he just did that, why the fuck would he not be the primary Democratic candidate for president? He in so many ways he would be a front runner.
Yeah.
I would be like, okay, this is the guy.
Yeah.
But instead he's like, no, fuck public, fuck schools, fuck affirmative action.
But can he run as a Republican doing that, or you think he should run on the left or third party?
This Republican Democrat thing is like such a stupid way to classify presidential candidates because it's.
Do you hear that, Mike? He's calling you stupid.
No, he's not.
He's saying your question was
No,
stupid.
no, he's not. No, he's not.
That's exactly what
He's
he
my
said.
friend. No, he's not.
I mean, your question was stupid.
I think if he ran in today's race,
But how do you like run a primary like doing that?
What, get the Democratic nomination?
Yeah.
It's not available this year.
Yeah. Okay.
like
Okay.
if I don't know how it would work.
Yeah.
But if he could do that, if he could run as a Democrat in that situation, or if he was just a Republican, but said all the things I just said,
Yeah.
which I don't think
Right.
is possible to say. Like,
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
yeah.
you can't run as a Republican, but also be like pro public schools and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But if it were possible to do that, to be that candidate, he would have such a better chance, and he would make a lot more sense, and he would have my vote. But instead, he's like, fuck public schools. He wants to wants to make like charter schools or voucher programs like the national norm. He wants to end affirmative action, which has already kind of happened, but he's pro ending affirmative action. And that's really all I need to know about a guy to be like, fuck this dude. Like, righting history's wrongs in that regard is like, as woke as it sounds, like a very important thing to have happen, because that would kind of play out for all the other things that are wrong in America, education, healthcare. Like, it says about you that you care about people and you care about this country and you care about the people who are struggling the most. But instead, he's not doing that. He's just pretending to be this fucking Donald Trump dick sucker, you know?
Right.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, you know, I'm not sure if I respect it, but it does take some balls to do the lane that he's doing, which is appealing to white nationalists while being an Indian dude.
Yeah.
And you'll see actual racists on Twitter, and I'm not using that derogatively. I'm like, the people who call themselves racists on Twitter will say, yeah, I like everything he says, but if he's president, he's just going to open the borders to India, you know? Like, that's what they believe.
The Indian portal.
Right.
Cricket's going to be the national sport or something.
Yeah.
No, first of all, it's too late. The borders are already very open in India. We've already taken all the jobs. So good on that, buddy.
Which nothing wrong with that.
No.
Yeah.
But like it's insane to think that he could be so much better than he is. He just refuses to do that. And it's not like it's hard for me to believe that he actually believes any of the shit that he says. Because I know that guy.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I know that guy.
Yeah.
You know, and like, I just want to grab him by his fucking shoulder. Shut the fuck up, man. This is my cousin, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I know you, bro.
Yeah,
You cannot be this.
But that
piece
does
of
seem to
shit.
be like a common immigrant experience where you're like, well, why can't they get it together?
It's that
You know,
survivor.
everybody.
It's
Yeah.
that survivor complex.
Yeah.
Like, we did it. Why can't they get it together? It's like your whether it be willful or not, you're ignoring,
The other stuff.
you know, 400 years of oppression
Yeah.
of society ingraining in its laws.
Yeah.
That minorities, black people, shouldn't be allowed things. You know, I one of my videos got like used on a New Jersey like clip aggregator about my dad having a liquor store in Irvington, and someone commented like, "Oh yeah, these Indians, they moved to these black neighborhoods and opened up liquor stores and sold poison to us," and it's like, we were.
And would you like to respond?
Yes, I was like, that really bothered me.
Yeah.
That bothered me
Yeah.
because it ignores the fact that it's not like we were like don't give these black people any loans. Don't let them open up businesses. Let the Indians. It's just that's where the opportunity was.
Yeah.
And it's not our fault that
You're saying it's Whitey's fault.
it's Whitey's fault.
Yeah.
It's
Whitey's fault.
It's Whitey's fault for sure. And so like the people, the minorities, the Indians that feel the way Vivek does, see that as them being given the same opportunities that black people were given, and they bootstrapping their way to the top. It's like, no. When my dad opened that liquor store up, it was probably at the expense of a black person that wanted to open a liquor store up, but wasn't granted the loan because of years and eons of systemic racism. That doesn't make him a winner necessarily. It's just that's how the game was being played.
Right.
And so that survivor complex, it bugs me so much because I've seen it in my cousins. I've seen it in a lot of people that I consider close and smart.
Sure.
And so with Vivek, it's like, bro, like, who are you whistling to, bro?
Yeah.
Who are you talking to?
Yeah.
And I just want to first I want to slap him and be like, hey, man. Like,
You keep doing this, and I keep picturing you picking him
I
up
just
to
wanna-
your height,
I just want to
like holding him to your eyes.
listen, man. I just want to shake him once to be like, stop the bullshit.
Yeah.
And two, to be like, fix your fucking hair, bro. You look fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is rough.
It's rough, dude.
It is rough.
I guess there's something about identity politics, which is like it's very kind of like self-aggrandizing, and it makes you not have empathy for other people.
How do you mean? What do you,
When people are too into like their own identities, they stop. It makes them not think about other people's identities and the stuff they've been through.
yeah, for sure. And I think Vivek is.
It's like, could you imagine if Italians were like slaves at any point? Like we would never shut up.
What do you
about
mean?
it. If we were slaves in like the 80s, we'd still be bitching about it.
for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
I mean, we did get lynched in like the 1800s, but nobody like has any connection to that.
But did you deserve it?
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. Johnny, can you look that up? Johnny, Google, did Italians deserve to get lynched in Louisiana
Lynched with
in
linguine.
1890?
In Louisiana,
Yeah, it was actually-
for real that happened?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Teddy Roosevelt, before he was president, he actually apparently told the Italian ambassador he thought it was a great thing that all those Italian, because it's I believe
Just called him drunk.
it's like the largest like mass lynching in U.S. history was Italians,
Jesus.
but
For
it
real?
was the day before it
Yeah,
actually
it was the premiere of Godfather 3. And we all committed suicide.
Yeah, it was the largest mass lynching was Italians, but the day before that, it was actually the largest mass groping in U.S. history in the city of New Orleans.
Like, y'all, we got to put a stop to this.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it was the largest
Just
mass.
like, just 100 Andrew Cuomo's got strung up, basically.
Just 1,000 guys on mopeds harassing underage girls. And they all got lynched.
It's like the 1800s. They all have spray-on tans.
Yeah.
I think it was turn of the century, like early 1900s.
Early 1900s.
I had no idea that.
How many did they lynch? Like 100, right?
No, it wasn't that many.
Yeah, I think it was, Sean.
No, well, let's find
Stop
out.
whitewashing our
Let's find out
Like
together.
100.
No, they're always
whitewashing our
they're always
trauma.
exaggerating. You know, actually, if you do the math,
was
you
like
couldn't
fucking
lynch that many
100
Italians.
people.
Yeah. Woodrow Wilson was like, the Italians are being dramatic again. They're saying it was 100, but it was only 20.
In 1891, 11
right.
Italian Americans were
Oh.
lynched in New Orleans. So 11 is the largest number in one day in U.S. history.
That's 11.
It's like lynching that they said, hey, we kind of feel bad about. Like, what the fuck do you mean?
It's 11. 11 is that's a very low number.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems.
So if you were the lyncher, you had like the easiest job in town. How many people would
Yeah.
you lynch a week?
Yeah, I guess.
11? That seems low, man.
Right. It was because the police chief in New Orleans had been assassinated, and the people, they blamed Italian organized crime. So they went around and they killed a bunch of Italians.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
A crime was committed.
I
They
mean,
just
we're
kill all the
literally just trying to feed our families.
It's facts, dude.
Yeah.
But yes, back to Vivek for sure. It, like identity politics. I don't think he really plays the game of identity politics. I think he kind of dances around it.
But it's annoying when people are like, oh, this thing that we went through is the worst thing.
Yeah.
You know, because you're seeing it with some other people that I won't mention. You know, But anyway,
Well, it is interesting. I mean, I guess just as a white guy, I'm the default, so I don't really feel represented when I see like an Irish person who, has power or whatever. I don't know. Does it actually do anything when you see somebody of your racial group in power, but they suck and you hate everything about them? I mean, does that kind of representation benefit people?
I think it's net positive when a brown person, an Indian person, does something of that stature, of that caliber. I think it's like, okay, to me, it's shocking to me that Indian people, we had one like regular candidate, Bobby Jindal, and then we went straight to fucking lunatic.
right.
It's like, to me, that means that in the next round in 2028, maybe we'll have like a sane, watered down version of a Indian president.
Maybe it'll be Suba.
Yeah, if she quits the game.
If she divorces the
In
game.
the UK, that guy's Indian.
Rishi Sunak, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so like it's a net positive in that it shows us, hey, we can do something like that. I think I can say with confidence that we'll probably have an Indian American president in my lifetime. So it is cool to see, but it's also annoying to have that guy be the candidate right now. He's so shitty, and when
He's so short too. He's such a tiny man representing.
How tall is he?
They're gonna say all Indians are short.
Wait, how
You're
tall?
Like, what?
How
That's
tall,
not true.
How tall is Vivek?
Like 5'3". Can we get
is he?
Can we check that?
that's the thing. I made fun of.
He's probably like 5'6".
I made fun of him for being 5'7",
5'7".
and I don't know if he's 5'7".
Yeah.
And people were like,
5'7" not that short.
I mean, for someone who is 6'1", yeah, but that's tiny, dog.
Yeah.
But I can't have a president you can noogie, you know?
Sure.
So I made fun of him for being short, and then a bunch of people like height shaming. How fucking dare you? Or like he's actually 6'1". It's like what? Who fucking shut the?
The story of William Wallace. Vivek is 7 feet tall.
It's like who cares? Shut the fuck up. It's just jokes.
Yeah.
He's 5'7", but 7 inches of that is his hair.
Is that true?
Well, I don't know his
Should we
actual
Google
height.
it?
No, I tried to find his height. Who
I'm
cares?
I'm sure.
Dude, he got it wiped. Yeah.
I'm sure his team is out there battling every.
Oh my
just
God,
knows-
he's my height. He's 100.
5'5".
I think. No, wait. Vivek. This is Vivek actor.
Well, he's not your fucking BMI, that's for sure. He's your height with 200 fewer pounds.
Sure.
Mike, this is an intervention.
I weigh about 207 pounds, so he's not 7 pounds, Sean.
When you do drugs, do you go my religion's right? Do you ever feel that way?
That must be cool being like an Indian running for president, though, because you know like every tech guy, so you can just get all your Google results cleared.
100%. 100. He's definitely plugged into a lot of Indian people.
We're trying. We can't even
Yeah,
Google
we
his
type in,
height.
like, Vivek height,
Vivek
and it's like
height.
he's at the height of his
It's looking-
political career.
He's actually a really tall guy. All the Google results are like, actually, it's a very above average height.
Yep.
But he weighs 152 pounds. How? That's like a fake number to me.
Yeah.
How does a man weigh that little?
Oh, wait a minute.
152 pounds. That's nothing.
I think we should move on.
As
don't like
as a presidential candidate, weigh 152 pounds.
Yeah.
Blowing the wind, bro.
Yeah. I was always around like 170, 180, and then like within like the last 2 years, I was just 200 pounds.
What happens?
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do?
Carry it well.
Are you like gaining mass? Do you gain mass as you get older? Anyway, who cares?
No,
You
I've
gain weight as you get older, right?
I've tried to make sure I maintain 170 to 180.
Yeah.
For the past few years, and I think I've stayed at it. Like, and I'm also like, I might have like body dysmorphia. Sometimes I'll look in the mirror like, what the fuck have you been eating? And Amy will be like, you look fine. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, I feel fat. I gotta go to the gym. So that definitely plays into a lot of my psyche. But
Nice.
Vivek is short.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, this show originally started out as a sort of a show for my son, in case I wasn't around. You know, we were like, what information should I leave my son? You though, you seem to have a very good relationship with money. You seem to be good with money. You're a generous guy, but you also don't seem to worry about it. Do you have any advice for some of our listeners who might be like poor and struggling to pay their bills? A lot of them, you know. Do you have any advice? Do you have any like philosophies on that kind of stuff, or? You know, because it seems like even before your the career started going well, you're always pretty financially stable.
Well, I had a day job for a while.
Yeah.
But no, I wasn't financially stable when I had a day job. I was, when you grow up with a dad who had a liquor store and was shot at, his mentality was always like, you can't leave here with it. So might as well just like enjoy your life and live like that. And so, not saying my dad was imprudent or anything, but he was not like rich dad, poor dad, reading those books and like, oh, this is what you have to stack away and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. For me, it's been a learning process to make sure I squirrel away some money and what's done it for me is that like all my peers that are not in comedy are like finance guys or doctors. Yeah. And to keep up with them and like make sure I can participate in their conversations about how the market is doing, I have to be a little more prudent than I would be otherwise. Right. And also like having a wife kind of makes you be like, oh yeah, I should probably save a little bit of money for us at some point in the future. Like
wait, why? Wait, I'm so lucky my father-in-law's like a fucking loser because I think her standards are much lower.
No, I think I grew up knowing how I didn't want to worry about money, and I still worry about it. It's not like that ever goes away, because we're in a business where
it's not.
The tides could change immediately, like overnight could say something or do something. Or
Trump could ban TikTok.
And
then what?
And now fuck. Like it's one of those things where like that entrepreneurial kind of thing, it never goes away.
Right.
Until you're like, okay, I got fucking $20 million, and then okay, maybe I'll feel like good about what's going on.
Yeah,
with me.
But then you get divorced.
Yeah,
and then there goes.
Of course.
Yeah,
the hoes take all the monies.
Right. Then you got to hire a hitman.
Yeah, it's a whole goddamn thing.
Yeah.
And they got to pay for lawyers, all that kind of shit. But like, for me, I've just tried to.
Like, oh, now me DMing porn stars is a problem. Now that I have $20 million, it was never a problem before.
Yeah. It's just been a constant lesson to just like do the basic stuff of like save X% of your money, put X% in the market and don't look at it.
Yeah.
And still like I'm still like I don't budget.
Yeah. Oh, you don't?
I don't budget. I just kind of.
It sucks though.
Yeah. Budgeting sucks.
Yeah.
But I don't do it.
Yeah.
It feels impossible.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who wants to open an Excel?
It's like a thing squirrels do. It's not like a human thing. It's like I see squirrels do, and I go, "That's so like desperate and pathetic."
Right. Right. They're just nervous. They just
they're
keep
bugging
hoarding
out for winter, and I go, "Well, I'm human."
Yeah,
and I go inside.
It's like, buddy, you'll figure it out.
I still kind of live like that.
Yeah.
Where I'm not like my sister budgets and stuff.
She does.
Yeah. My
You
sister.
know, sorry, but it is interesting now. It's kind of against Christian teachings. If you want to take the words of Jesus literally, what he talks about is he says, and I'm paraphrasing the Sermon on the Mount here, but he says, look at the birds in the sky. They don't worry about where their next meal is going to come from.
Interesting.
I feel like that's all they do.
Yeah.
It's just constantly worrying about the next meal.
Yeah. But
Jesus
didn't have a
was a fool.
slut
You ever
daughter
eat
who
like
needed
cheese balls on the beach? Seagulls go fucking crazy.
But Jesus didn't have a daughter who needed a Sweet 16 party, and all of her shitty friends were going to make fun of her. It wasn't, But that's interesting.
I wonder if it's a cultural thing because it's like American Christians are really just pagans with prosperity gospel and all this kind of bullshit about if you're rich, that's Jesus rewarding you. And of course, if you read the Bible, it's ridiculous. That's paganism. There's nothing to do with Christianity. But anybody who actually followed Christianity literally, I think you're really not supposed to save. You're supposed to give all your money to the poor. And that would be the perfect, ideal Jesus. Nobody except Jesus can get there, but you're supposed to try to get as close as you can. And so this kind of
There you go, Scott.
but I wonder if any part of that is, let's say, cultural differences between Hindus and Christians, with these attitudes towards savings and that kind of thing?
I'm sure those attitudes definitely played out some way in my mom and dad's upbringing at some point. But if there were lessons from Hinduism, saving and all that, they were not imparted to me. It was definitely not a message I received. We have a goddess Luxuries of like wealth and prosperity, and some people pray to her, and they think, oh yes, you're supposed to have wealth and not hoard it, but like if you're
Accumulate.
Accumulate. If you're lucky enough to be in a position where you can, then you should. It's like it's a sign of a good life and that your soul is on the right path to nirvana, kind of thing. And so I think maybe that might be some of the codification of it, but that's all just anecdotal. For me, it was never like save this and do that. It was just like, okay, well, maybe be a little more prudent. Maybe you don't need to buy every color polo from Ralph Lauren.
Yeah.
You know,
I've gone through phases in life where I've done that though.
Yeah, what, bought every color? Or
Oh
something?
yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's Lacoste
And then-
polos
Lacoste
and,
polo.
like,
I had all of them. I had
Yeah.
all the Converses to match the Lacoste
It
polos.
just
Well,
makes,
it's-
it
and
makes you
it's-
feel so empty.
It's even worse
you
for
have-
Mike because then 2 years later he's got to upgrade to double
Yeah.
XL, triple XL. You can't just keep this. You got to get new colors in all of them.
I'm literally not a large shirt anymore.
Yeah.
I've graduated up to XL.
I thought you were gymming and stuff, lifting and.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. You know,
Well, you just eat pasta every meal, right?
just eat pasta every meal.
Well, that'll do it.
For breakfast. I eat pasta for breakfast.
That'll do it.
You make hand
Yeah, I thought pasta
gestures.
was
What's
bad
that?
for you, and then I said it to him, and he said it to me. Like I thought, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Pasta is bad for you, though, right?
Pasta is bad for you.
No, it's good for your soul.
Yeah, it's like bad.
No, it's unhealthy for sure.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, it's unhealthy if you don't have the physical exercise routine to burn that shit off.
Yeah.
Which is hard, I imagine, with a child to
Yeah.
maintain any kind of exercise regimen. But that's what you got to do.
Yeah. No, it's definitely my diet. I am going to the gym, but I think I look fine. Do you have like little luxuries that you like to treat yourself to though?
I eat. If there's Ritz crackers in the house,
Yeah.
I'll fuck up a whole sleeve.
Nice.
I'll fuck a whole sleeve up, dude.
Yeah. It is interesting though, because when I was in college, I had this like sales job in Jersey. We would go door to door and we would set up appointments for home improvement sales guys. And I was making good money with that, but it's like, yeah, the most I could really do was like buy clothes, and it always felt very empty to be like, all right, I got a new shirt.
Yeah.
I don't know. You should see his apartment though. It's nice.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I'm busy. I'm
Yeah,
working.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
get to spend any time in it
Yeah.
because I got to pay for it.
Yeah, right. Well, speaking of pasta, you want to talk about cuisine a little bit before we wrap up?
Oh yeah, what about cuisine?
Indian food is better than Italian food. I said it here first.
What?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care if he says it. That doesn't bother me.
You think that's your
I-
taste buds
in some
accustomed
ways-
to it?
No, in some ways it is better.
It depends on the dish. There's some Indian dishes I go like, that's for your buds and your buds only. I can't handle it.
All
Yeah.
right, well, calm down. Just don't disrespect our guests, please.
No, I'm saying it's good. I'm saying my palate is weak. It's my palate doesn't eat that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you want to talk about? Cuisine?
Well, Indian food definitely like knows what it wants to be.
Yeah.
It's unapologetic, which
There's
is what I
the-
like about it.
The most the new hotness, the Makkah and Sema, the Indian restaurants in here in New York City.
Yeah.
The most popular ones right now are owned by a company called Unapologetic Foods.
Really?
Yeah, and it's just like it is an assertive,
Yeah.
like this is the flavor profile we're going to maintain. This is what Indian food tastes like, and it is unafraid of being like, yeah, it's not for everybody,
Yeah.
and it's not.
Yeah.
No.
But if you
What are the
enjoy-
ingredients that do that? Like the spices, the ginger, right? Because most European
Turmeric.
food doesn't have ginger in it.
Yeah, turmeric, coriander, garam masala, curry, like all those things. Those are declarative things.
Yeah.
You know, you eat like cacio e pepe or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, you got maybe a little black pepper, a little soft Parmesan cheese and flavor profile, but.
Yeah, that's how you know the Italians are the least white because they use the closest things to spices in their food.
Right.
Pepper and garlic.
And every other white person's like, whoa, they're crazy.
Garlic powder? Holy shit.
Yeah, I think.
Well, you do fresh garlic,
Oh, sorry.
but yeah.
I love fresh garlic. Italian food is my probably third favorite. It's
Yeah.
Indian food, Middle Eastern food, and then
No, you've said that. But what, you think Middle Eastern's better than Italian?
I love Mediterranean cuisine.
I do. It is.
Yeah, I
good.
like Mediterranean.
It's better for you too.
Italy is in the Mediterranean, right? I mean, it's on the Mediterranean, but like,
It's just funny going out for Italian food, like for lunch, and you you can't walk afterwards, and you have heartburn.
It's
You're
great.
like, oh, it's the best cuisine in the world.
I'm going to Italian food after this. I'm going to
You are?
I'm going to Riccioli right after this.
Where's that?
West Village on McDougal and West Houston. It's brand new. It's from Rome.
Mm-hmm.
Amy and I went when we were in Rome, and it was like because Matteo recommended it.
Nice.
And we
Well, if you are affiliated with that temple in New Jersey, if you hurry, you can find Nimesh there at the restaurant.
yeah, please pray for me.
Yeah.
I did want to ask about the
Yeah.
Sikhs because you know, as like a white dude, you have myopia about the white racial tensions, ethnic tensions, let's say, and you forget about other people's until. You know, like what's happened in Canada, there was a Sikh activist assassinated, and federal prosecutors have just charged a guy with trying to have a Sikh activist in New York assassinated. And the federal prosecutors, in their indictment, allege that this was being done at the behest of the Indian government. I read a couple stories, and I can elaborate on all that. But I'm just curious, like, if there are these kind of tensions with Sikhs, or if this is more just a facet of the Modi government.
I honestly have no idea where the history of the Sikh nationalist movement dovetails with what's going on in India right now. I do know that I think in the 80s in the late 80s there were some violent activists that ended up killing a bunch of people I think in Canada. On Canadian soil, or it might have been in Indian soil, but I'm not sure. But the Indian government holds a grudge, dude, and that's clear. They held a grudge. They fucking had this guy killed, Hardeep Singh, a few months ago. I remember hearing about it and thinking, "What the fuck? That's bold as shit." India's really flexing. It was like the same month they sent a spacecraft to the moon, you know, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, watch this. We'll also kill the fucking guy."
And that's the funniest thing. You're right. Like India is flexing right now because the entire U.S. strategy is they need India to contain China. Like they want India, and you know, they just again attempted to have somebody assassinated on U.S. soil. Usually that would be a massive diplomatic crisis. But Biden is just treating it like nothing because U.S.-India relations are so important in the view of the U.S. strategy of let's contain and isolate China that India, I mean, they do have an ability to just kind of, you know, it's like fuck you money, except you can just assassinate anybody who might be trying to make the Punjab province have a referendum for independence or whatever.
Now, what happens if they don't continue?
You said or whatever as if that wasn't exactly what. I mean,
that's exactly what it was. But I'm sure he has other beefs that he's going to kind of go down the list, Modi, and see what he gets to.
Yeah. What were you saying? Sorry.
Now, what happens if they don't contain China? What if we just left it alone? What do you think? What's the worst that's going to happen?
It'd be fine.
TikTok for everybody,
Right?
Everybody gets TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole
My kid starts building robots.
Yeah, like
wow.
everyone immediately gets good at science and math.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I contend that some of what China does is okay. In the sense of they focus their education on engineering and science and shit.
Yeah.
And we're over here trying
I
to
mean, you can't tell Americans about the trains
Yeah.
because we're all autistic now.
Yeah.
So they gotta contain the all the train information.
It's just so sad that we're all here learning, trying to dance and shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, why contain China? No, it's like maybe focus on your own people and give them education. You want to compete. Like, that's how you compete.
Yeah, you make education cool. Yeah.
You got to be smart. You got to have education be cool again. It's just, we're headed in a direction where it's like, that's not at all what we want. Like, fuck all the books. That's how we'll beat China. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, dude, we're gonna win this on street smarts. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah, dude.
We got hunches and shit. We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
We're gonna challenge China to a fight in like an Applebee's parking lot.
Yeah.
And whoever wins has to. Yeah.
But like, I guess tensions between Hindus and Sikhs, that's not as really relevant in the U.S. and Canada, would you say? Is that more of a thing in India itself?
I'm not privy to the beefs that exist between those groups. I have no problem with the Sikh people. I think I have fans that are Sikh that come out to shows. I had Sikh people get mad because I made fun of the people that murdered Hardeep Singh. Like I made fun of the Indian agents that killed the guy.
Right.
But Sikh people got upset with me, thinking I was making fun of the guy that got murdered, and I was just like, "Bro, your turban's on too tight, man. You need to fucking relax, like, chill the fuck out." And then like other Indians,
He said, "I'm Sikh." You go, "Well, go to a doctor, hey, if you're so Sikh." Hey, all right.
like I'm there's no.
You're gonna have
ovation. The guy just sitting there getting mad. His turban starts turning red.
People like Sikh fans, like the people that understood it knew what I was talking about. Like I'm making fun of the people that murdered the guy.
Yeah.
And I know when I don't know enough to make a referendum on what the beef is about. Like, and I'm not gonna research it because none of it's gonna be funny.
Right.
It's not like, oh wow, like the Sikhs and the Indian government have this long-standing beef about like farming and the Sikh people trying to be separatists.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm sure there's a deep history there that I'm not going to look into. I don't want to Wikipedia it so they could go on stage and do one stupid joke about how Sikhs are farmers. Like, the fuck do I care?
Now I'm thinking, I'm like, has reading ever made my comedy better?
Yeah, no, you never feel good. It never feels good.
No, it makes you go, "Oh, I guess I can't do that."
Yeah. Oh, that's the
You got to be
story.
like Joan Rivers, like just stupid and confident, and that's how you become really funny.
Yeah.
I hope thousands of Sikhs come to Leave Scott hate comments after that.
I'm sure there's a Sikh doctor that's got jokes exactly in that lane.
Come on, of course.
Well, guys, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for doing it.
I think pasta for breakfast is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah,
You can't tell me what to do.
If you're listening and you're poor, your Steve Jobs entrepreneur idea is liquor store that opens at 5 a.m. This is an underserved market right now.
Hey, guess what we're doing on December 28th right here in New York City? We are having an Out for Smokes holiday party. We're having a little happy hour meetup at Floyd Bar in Brooklyn, 131 Atlantic Avenue. If you want to come, 5 p.m., little happy hour. Come say hi to the boys. You can meet us in person. And to RSVP, please shoot us an email, outforsmokespod@gmail.com. We're going to see you guys over on the Patreon if you don't mind joining us over there. If you want, $5 a month gets you an additional episode every week. I want to thank our guest, Nimesh, for coming in here.
Thank you.
Good luck at the Garden.
Thank you very
Are there
much.
30th, go see.
Are there
December
tickets
30th.
available?
Yes, fastandloosetour.com.
Okay. So get your tickets for that. And I guess that's it. Oh, Minneapolis, January 26th and 27th at the Sisyphus Brewing Company. I'll be there. Hope to see you out. Go to MikeRacineComedy.com for your tickets.
Yeah.
And what else?
Patreon.com/outforsmokes.
Patreon.com/outforsmokes. Thank you very much. Have a beautiful holiday season. God bless. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.